Don't jump into 3-octave scales. Don't start with the hardest parts of your music. Don't play in super high positions. Don't play vigorously. Grab your practice journal and a pen and get ready to take notes, because by the end of this video, you are going to have a few tools to add to your warm-ups toolbox that you can actually start practicing today. What's the point? The point for me, I want you to warm up. That's it. All the warm-up is simply transitioning you from whatever you were doing before to playing your violin. So you don't want it to absorb all of your practice time. Scale the amount of time you have for your warm-up based on how long you have for your entire practice session. Okay, so don't warm up for 15 minutes if you only have 30 minutes to practice. Warm up for 5 minutes instead. I think it will be helpful for you to understand why and to understand what to do. So those are the two things that I'm going to tell you today. Before we go on and get into this video, if you are getting out your violin to practice with me, hit that like button, please. And if you want to see more videos like these, please also subscribe. Okay, let's go on. So why you want to warm up. Physically warming up for your instrument is super important, but basically the key word is warm. You don't need to break a sweat. Now, if you just went to the gym, you showered, and you're going to practice your violin, your body is already decently warm. Just focus on stretching the things, your hands and arms maybe just a little bit, just to say, hey guys, wake up, we're about to play the violin. You don't need to do too much. But if it's first thing in the morning and you haven't done anything yet today, and the first moving you're doing with your body is playing the violin, then do take some time to do a more thorough warm-up where you're warming up your body physically. Some arm circles, really gentle movement. The goal is to prime both your body and your mind to play your instrument. It doesn't have to be a long period of time. In fact, it shouldn't be. And it should not involve technical studies. I'll talk more about that later. So not all warm-ups have to be on the instrument. There are warm-ups that you can do off the instrument that are musically related, and we'll go into that. So let's continue. So imagine, or maybe right now, you're starting your practice session. You want your whole body to be warm. Use a breath, use some movement. Just make sure that you're not stiff and it's not the first movement of your day, okay? Next, you want to get the right side warm. So this is bowing. You can do some air bow off the instrument, okay? And just notice how your arm moves, and you can play around with your elbow level, too high, too low, somewhere in between. Kind of get this little awake, okay? And then we've got different bow exercises. I also have a video about bow hold that has some of those exercises and goes into more detail. I'll go ahead and link that below as well. You can do this off the instrument. Now, another exercise with the bow is just simply playing open strings. I like to start on the middle 2 strings and then do the lowest string and then the highest string, and this is sounding whenever we're talking about low high sounding. Then another drill that I love is developing your slow bow. What I want to talk about today is working up to a 60-second or longer bow, being able to make a solid tone the entire time for 60 seconds on a down bow and 60 seconds on an up bow. I'm going to demo this longest bow exercise, and you need your metronome, violin, and a bow. You want to tune your violin, and this will require being a little bit warm to begin. So I would just do some easy open strings first and then do this exercise. So you want to get your metronome set to 60 beats per minute. And that's just because that's how long 1 second lasts. And the goal of this exercise is to get you to play a full minute in one bow direction, both ways, with a consistent sound. And you can do this by consistently making a pure tone or a scratch tone, which is a little bit more advanced. But today I'm just gonna walk you through. So after you get your metronome, then you can do this a few ways, but I would have you start with 4 quarter notes to get the beat established. and then 4 half notes to continue that, 2 whole notes, so that gets you back up to the frog, and then 8 beats down, 8 beats up, 16 down, 16 up, 32, 32, and then 64 or 60 down and 60 up. And so it's every time you're just doubling the amount of beats that you're playing, and it's at 60 beats per minute, so you know you're playing for seconds at a time, and you know you're working up to playing for a full 60 seconds in one direction. Okay, I'm going to play just the first little bit of the exercise to give you an idea of what it looks like and to get you started. 3, 4. Okay, I only went up to 8 beats, but then after that you would just continue 16, 32, and 60. And what you're doing is you're practicing your bow planning. So when you have 2 beats, you know, you can use the whole bow pretty easily. When you have 32 beats, you only use a very small portion of your hair to play each note. And it's not a lot. The bow's not heavy. It doesn't grab the string very easily on its own. You have to help with that. So this exercise is developing your hair bow connection to the string. It's refining your ability to create a pure tone and to keep the string vibrating at the same consistency. We're going for consistency. So in the end, you have the ability to control your sound and therefore can play whatever kind of sound you want. We don't want to play sounds on accident. We want to play them with intention. So those are a few exercises you can do for your right hand. I want to move on to the left hand now. In the left hand, some of my favorite exercises, I'll tell you 2 of my favorite exercises. One of them is exploring open, 1, and 3. Whenever you're in first position, you need to be able to find your first finger and your third finger. Those are the ones that are anchoring your position. So I'm going to show you the way I do this exercise. It has a lot of open intervals. It's perfect fourths, perfect fifths, and octaves. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do those exercises now. And the next way that I like to get warmed up in my left hand without doing scales. Okay, scales are a part of your technical practice. We are still warming up. This is before scales. Scale practice gets its own focus, its own amount of time in all of your practice sessions. Okay, so this is separate. Consider it separate. The other exercise I like to do is just playing up and down 1 string at a time. This can be as little as open 1, 2, 3, or open 1, 2, 3, 4, or even just open 1, testing that first finger because you really want to nail that first finger. So in this other exercise that I like to do, it's just toggling back and forth between fingering. So open 1, open 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, and going backwards, 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1 over, 1 over. And you can do this on all of your strings. What you're doing is you're sensing the distances between your fingers, whole steps versus half steps, and exactly where those are. So we're building, these are the building blocks of your intonation, and intonation and rhythm must be on. So those are the things we work on the most. Anyway, the point of these left hand exercises in your warm-up time is simply to reacquaint yourself with where your fingers are supposed to go. We are creating our building blocks, so that's why we're practicing 1 and 3. So we've got our body has been warmed, our right hand has been warmed, our left hand has been acquainted with the instrument. Okay, everything is really kind of coming together. Now, we need to talk about how you've mentally prepared for your practice session and how you are going to be mentally warming up also during this time. First, you will plan your practice session. You can do that right before you start practicing. It doesn't need to be in advance. If you have a teacher, they will give you something to work on, and you just need to make sure that you know the goals that they have for you and that they're very clear. You know, play this piece at this tempo, or this section of this piece at this tempo. If your teacher's not giving you a tempo or some sort of indication of like, this is what tells you you're making progress in your piece, you need to be asking them for that information, or look for somebody else who gives it to you. But just my opinion. So you know when you're going to practice and what you're going to practice, and that takes care of your mental preparation before you get to your practice session. Now, once you're here and you have your list in front of you, everything you're going to do, other mental or musical warming up you can do off of the instrument is listen to your piece, just listening and enjoying it. You can listen to your piece while you're looking at it, and you can listen to or watch a video of you playing your piece and looking at your music along. Fair warning, this can be a challenging exercise to video record yourself and then watch and take notes, but you are sure to get really quick results with it. So, highly recommended. Make a video of you playing, just doing a run through of one of your pieces that you're working on, and then the next day, before you start your practice session officially, while you're warming up, take a minute to watch the video and take notes in your music. And I have a whole method on how to do that, so comment below if you want to know more about that process. My favorite tip is to sing scales. So do, re, mi. Learn it, be able to sing it starting on any note. Look, I've got my do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then maybe if I start here, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, I'm not a singer, please don't hold that against me. You want to be able to sing do starting on any note. This is called movable do for anybody who's interested in theory. And then another thing is to sing from do to each note individually. So do, re, and then saying what the interval is. Do, re, major second, do, mi, major third, do, fourth, fa, perfect fourth, do, so, perfect fifth. Okay, and you go through the whole scale and sing that. So if you want to know more about that, let me know. That exercise is, I used to sing it in the shower. I was developing my ear, and I was not good at sight singing, and that was something that we had to do in school. And so I just devoted 5 minutes a day to sight singing, and also while I was in the shower would casually sing my scales on whatever note and also sing these intervals back and forth. That was really helpful for me. It depends on your level of motivation to learn how to do this, but I will tell you that especially when I was focusing on and honing my aural skills, that is when my intonation saw the greatest uptick in consistency while I was on my journey. to get to the technical place where I am now. Those are my recommended things that you can do to sing your scales. So we've covered you start getting your whole body warm, you do the right side, you do the left side. You've mentally warmed up by being prepared for your practice session, and during your practice session, you're mentally warming up by listening, engaging with the music, singing your scales. These are mental and musical warm-ups to really start getting your ears in tune, and pun intended. Here's what not to do, okay? Just one teacher's opinion. Don't jump into 3-octave scales. Don't start with the hardest parts of your music. Don't play in super high positions. Don't play vigorously. The point is to get you from whatever you were doing before to playing the violin. It should be gentle. It should be exploratory. You're just getting acquainted, making sure your right hand is familiar, knows what to do. Left hand's familiar. Oh yeah, this is what we're doing. Okay, we're comfortable. Okay, we're ready to go. That's it. 5 minutes, 15 minutes max if you're really enjoying yourself, or you need a little bit more warming up because maybe it's super early in the morning. So finally, I want you to remember why you're warming up, because you're preventing injury and you're getting more out of your practice sessions so you can stay motivated to keep playing. And I want you to get your violin and try out these exercises today and let me know how they go for you in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. There is so much more to come, so make sure that you subscribe, and I will see you next time.